We're gonna do this right under the L, the New York way, the Bronx way, right? Right under the L. Dig it. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us. This is our first accessible station opening of the new year of 2025. We love that. The 6 train, our busiest line, right above us, and we're not forgetting about it. I'm Jano Lieber, the MTA Chair and CEO. I'm here with, among other folks, the MTA's Construction Development President, Jamie Torres-Springer, Chief Accessibility Officer, Quimel Arroyo. You all know him, very shy young man. We are joined by a really bevy of great elected officials, big transit supporters. The Bronx Borough President, Vanessa Gibson, the City Council member from the area, also the Majority Leader, Amanda Farias, Assemblymember Benedetto. Thank you for being here. Natalia Fernandez, the State Senator, here. You're going to hear from, and Yasmin Cruz from the Westchester Square Business Improvement District. Where is Yasmin? Okay. Hello, Yasmin. But also my MTA board member and a real important player in everything we do, Lisa Soren, who's got Bronx all over her. So I don't want to tell you all her Bronx titles, but she got a lot. Listen, we're picking up right where we left off before the new year in the mission to make the subway system fully accessible. This is no easy task because our infrastructure is 100+ years old. This station opened more than 100 years ago in 1920. But today it is fully ADA accessible, 3 brand new elevators. And part of the complexity of this project is we got to deal with all of the structure of these elevated stations. We installed and refurbished a dozen stairways, and we did a ton of other station enhancement. Jamie will talk a little bit about some of that. I will try to get around to turning the page. Listen, I was up in Albany yesterday. Many of us were, and we heard a lot about affordability. Newsflash, nothing makes New York affordable like our transit system. It is 15% the cost of owning a car, and transit is all about affordability. And in addition, I need to emphasize, transit accessibility benefits some of our most economically challenged populations, seniors, many of whom live on fixed incomes, parents and caretakers with young kids in strollers who are facing the high cost of living. We heard a lot about that yesterday. And most of all, people with disabilities. So remember, accessibility equals affordability, and that's one of the many reasons we celebrate it. Those folks deserve the advantage of our amazing subway system like everybody else. Now, I gotta say, we wouldn't be here without the support of the federal partners. We're all anticipating the change of administration, but we have to celebrate the investments that have been made by this administration. This project, 80% federally funded. Huge thanks to our guardian angel in Washington, Senator Chuck Schumer, and also to House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries, the entire New York delegation, including AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who's, I think, represented here today by her chief of staff. Where are you? Thank you so much for being here, Noreen Akhter, and the AOC team. Now I'm going to turn over to Jamie, who's going to talk a little about specifics and also acknowledge our amazing contracting and project management team who's done so much. Jamie.
Thank you very much, Chair. And you know, when we're in the Bronx, we're joined by a lot of great officials and supporters. And Assemblywoman Reyes is also here with us today. So thank you, welcome. And we're thrilled to be here to celebrate this first ADA accessible station in 2025. We got another 37 stations in construction, 7 more for the commuter railroads. A lot of these are in the Bronx, and we're excited about all the work we're going to get done in 2025. As Jano said, we not only made this station fully ADA accessible with 3 new elevators, new warning strips, ADA boarding areas, but a great community like Westchester Square. And it is a wonderful community here, with a station on the State Register for Historic Places, gets a much improved station. Rebuilt 8 station stairs, 4 new platform stairways, installed new lighting, a new fire alarm system for safety, reconfigured the fare arrays to improve passenger circulation, and the improvements and the repairs we made to the station with tiling and facade work that's all consistent with that state register listing. And then not to mention the major rehabilitation, replacement of structural steel, platforms, track. And you know, in this next program, our 25 to 29 program, we've got a lot of painting and maintenance of our overhead structures, especially in the Bronx. So we can see that forthcoming as well. There's a lot more work coming up, and we're very proud of the work done at the station. Real quick thanks to our team, led by our project CEO, AJ Chilhan, who's here with us and has worked on this whole package of stations and done a great job. And our contractor, MLJ, TC Electric is here, Modern Elevator, AECOM, HNTB. Thank you all for all that amazing work, and I want to pass it on to Q for some remarks.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jamie. Good morning. I am so excited to be here today opening up this new station. As you heard before, 3 new elevators. But beyond just the elevators, we are unlocking potential. Access to transportation is access to independence. And here today we celebrate this transit hub because as we are seeing, 3 different lines of buses go through here, 4 other lines stop or end at this very terminal. This is a transit hub. And we are unlocking access to independence, access to transportation, access to jobs, access to go to school, and to move around with independence and see your loved one on your own time. I am so proud to be part of this team here at the MTA because we understand, as you heard from Jano, that accessibility is universal, not just for folks with disabilities like myself, but the parents, the caregivers, the seniors who live in this area who have not been able to make these trips for so long, and others who have been, but now will be doing it with more ease and more frequently. So we are really proud to be here today. There's a lot more coming to the Bronx. We have 5 other stations that are named or currently in construction here on the 6th line. So we'll be back here celebrating those stations, including Middletown Road just up the street, which we are now making accessible on both ways. So thank you all for joining us today. Unas palabras en español. Estoy muy orgulloso de estar aquí en Westchester Square, East Tremont, en la apertura de esta estación de tránsito. Esta estación es solo para los trenes. Aquí hay 3 líneas de autobuses que cruzan por aquí, 4 otras líneas que comienzan o terminan aquí. Esto es lo que le llamamos un transit hubs. Miles de pasajeros cruzan por aquí diario y de ahora en adelante también será posible para esas personas envejecedores, para neoyorquinos con discapacidad, así como yo, y para padres con niños en coches. Así que es un orgullo y un honor estar aquí celebrando con todos nosotros. Gracias.
¡Qué rápido! ¡Qué rápido! Vanessa, the borough president, you're up.
Good morning, everyone. Buenos dias a todos. Bienvenidos. Welcome, welcome. So excited to be here. To each and every one of you, thank you for joining us for the official ribbon cutting of the ADA accessible Westchester Square East Tremont subway station. So excited. And let me first thank our incredible and distinguished chairman of the MTA. Thank you, Mr. Chair Jano Lieber. Thank you to our president, Jamie Torres Springer. Thank you to our partners at MTA New York City Transit, to each and every one of you, to all of my colleagues who are here. We want to thank our Congress member, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, our state senator, Natalia Fernandez, our assembly member, Michael Benedetto, assembly member, Carines Reyes, our New York City Council Majority Leader, Amanda Farias. I want to recognize members of Community Board 9 who are here, members of Community Board 10, the Permanent Citizens Advisory Committee, the PSAC, who really fights for accessibility at all of our subway stations across the city of New York. Thank you so much to Yasmin Cruz and the Westchester Square Business Improvement District, our president of the Bronx Chamber of Commerce, Lisa Sorin, and really to all of you. We also have members of the ARC team who are here. Thank you, ARC. And we are just so excited because we know that transit equity is transit justice. And when we talk about ensuring that our subway stations are accessible, it is a real priority for all of us. From the Hochul administration to the Adams administration to our team at Borough Hall, all of us are deeply committed and very intentional about investing in our commuters, giving our New Yorkers access and opportunity. Whether you are a New Yorker that is living with a disability, you are a mother or father with a young child, you are an older adult, you are a veteran, everyone deserves access to transit equity. And right here in Westchester Square, this beautiful community of residents and small businesses, Lehman High School is here. We have an incredible commercial corridor of residents and customers and clients that use this subway station each and every day. So recognizing that as we begin this new year, I am so grateful that we get to celebrate the official opening of a fully accessible subway station, because that is our goal and that is our priority. We have many more in the pipeline to come this year, and I'm incredibly excited. I love celebrating elevators. And during my time in the city council, I funded many elevator projects, because guess what? You expect to have elevators at your subway station that are working and that are operable and that are modernized. And with this capital project also comes renovations on our platform inside the subway station, because guess what, folks? That's what commuters deserve. 21st century modernized subway stations that are accessible for all. So I want to say thank you to our Chairman, Jano Lieber, everyone at MTA. Thank you to New York City Transit and to the entire construction team. And let us continue to celebrate ADA accessibility here in the Bronx and throughout the entire city of New York. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here today as we celebrate a major achievement for accessibility and infrastructure in our city's transit system. I am Majority Leader Amanda Farias, and I'm proud to stand here with the Metropolitan Transit Authority as we announce the completion of significant upgrades at the Westchester Square East Tremont Avenue 6 train, making it fully accessible for our community. This project marks a critical step towards ensuring that every New Yorker, regardless of physical ability, can move around our city with some ease and dignity. With the installation on 3 brand new elevators, this station is now equipped to serve all riders in our surrounding community. 1 street to mezzanine elevator and 2 mezzanine to platform elevators will make accessing the train easier for thousands of commuters who rely on the station every single day. These improvements, along with new ADA boarding areas, are a part of our shared commitment to building a transit system that works for everyone. But accessibility isn't the only win here. This project reflects a significant investment in our local infrastructure. The upgrades include the replacement of existing stairways and the construction of new ones, improved lighting, new tiles, and repairs to concrete and steel, all of which are aimed at enhancing the customer experience to the 3,800 daily riders who use this station. This kind of local investment makes our transit system stronger and more modern, improving the daily commute for so many Bronx residents. We're also making safety a top priority with the addition of a new fire alarm systems, CCTV cameras, upgraded communication systems, and clearer signs for riders. We want our public transit system to not only be accessible, but also safe and reliable for everyone who depends on it. And let's not forget the workers who make all of this possible. These infrastructure projects create good-paying union jobs for New Yorkers, supporting the very workers who build and maintain our city transit network and who also live within our community. This is about investing in our workforce and their families just as much as it is about investing in our infrastructure. And as a former high school student who came on and off the station every single day, I'm incredibly proud that Westchester Square East Tremont Avenue 6 train is the first subway station to be made accessible this year in 2025. It serves as a model for what we can achieve as we prioritize equity, safety, and local investments. And I look forward to seeing this work continue across the Bronx and throughout New York City as we work together to build a more inclusive, accessible future for all New Yorkers. Thank you so much.
All right, let's keep it quick. Good afternoon, everyone. State Senator Natalia Fernandez. It really is true. When the team works together, the dream works and is here. Teamwork makes the dream work, right? But this is really a monumental moment. My colleagues have been vigilant in their time here and our time here, making sure that the Bronx especially is ADA accessible. Not too long ago, Assemblyman Michael Benedetto and I funded the Huntington Free Library to make that ADA accessible with a ramp. So this is important that every amenity, every service, everything good around us is accessible. So to have an elevator here, the first one in New York City for 2025, for me, lets me know that, again, the Bronx is #1. But thank you to the MTA, thank you to everyone that made this happen, to our advocates, to my colleagues. This is a huge win for us, and I'm looking forward to see New York City to continue to open more elevators and to continue to make New York City accessible for all. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Assemblymember Karines Reyes. So happy to be joining in this joyous occasion, the ribbon cutting of the first ADA project of 2025. And I just have to say, these projects are many, many years in the making. My colleagues in the Assembly and the Senate have been advocating to ensure that all our Bronx stations, particularly on the 6th line, which has been a lifeline for so many of our residents, are included in the capital plans for the MTA. And we are happy to be here today and look forward to the ribbon cutting for the elevator in Parkchester soon.
Okay. We get everybody. The other Assembly member, who's a longtime supporter of transit, is elected to let the moment pass. So, but we honor him. I'm not kidding. We honor him as a longtime supporter of everything we do. Okay. So with that, we're Tim Minton.
Questions back in the Commerce Avenue Pavilion. Andrew Siff of WNBC. Andrew.
Hi, Mr. Chairman. Jamie talked about 37 other elevators that are in construction. Are they paid for by the existing capital plan? At what point does congestion pricing revenue kick in for an accessibility project?
Oh, well, just to be clear, Jamie will give you the specifics. We are advancing ADA projects that are funded by congestion pricing. That happened when the governor announced the unpause and we moved towards implementing congestion pricing. So we are already making progress on ADA projects all over the city that are being funded by congestion pricing, along with projects to buy new trains and new signals and advance the 2nd Avenue subway. So the benefits of congestion pricing are underway. Jamie, specifics?
That's right. Those 37 are in construction, and then we announced at the end of last year all of those congestion pricing funded projects moving into our procurement process. That includes 3 ADA accessible stations that are in procurement. We'll award that contract this year, get that work going this year. We announced an additional station that will be made ADA accessible amongst those 23 stations that are funded by congestion pricing. That's at Grant Avenue. And we're moving. 2nd Avenue subway procurement is in the works. We're starting the procurement for resignaling the Fulton line, and we've added a piece to the Fulton line to extend that resignaling even further. And of course we awarded a contract for additional battery electric buses, which we announced last week. So lots of congestion pricing funded projects moving, and that's just the beginning. It's all going to move very fast this year.
All right, over to John Diaz from CBS New York. John.
It's okay, off topic? Yeah.
Anybody else on topic? Exciting topic, special topic, important topic, Bronx topic. John Diaz, CBS New York.
Okay, don't ask that Diaz. Okay, there
I
you
have
go.
a question about something no one's talking about, congestion pricing. So we're getting a lot of news tips in about right before 5 o'clock in the morning when the higher fare comes in, there's a lot more people traveling. What are your thoughts about this? People trying to come in earlier. Do you think that this is going to be a new norm, a new peak rush hour time to try and beat that 5 o'clock time?
It's too early to try to infer a permanent pattern. But if you're telling me the rush hour is already smoothing out, I don't think any of us is going to be sad about that. If people are spreading the rush hour so that overall the traffic is better, that sounds like a benefit from congestion pricing. I don't know if it's long-term, but certainly an interesting piece of news.
And then just one other follow-up question. The overcrowding on the subway, the LIRR, people are complaining, a lot more people. It's good that they're going on, right?
Mr. Diaz, you are way too educated to think there's overcrowding on the subway of the LIRR. Last week we had 20%, I think 15% less riders on the subway than we did in October. That in turn is probably 30% less than we had before COVID. The idea that there's crowding on the system because of the 130,000 people who drive, some of them moving over to transit, is nonsense. It's total nonsense. We have more swing in our subway ridership when there's a forecast of 1 drop of rain than we do from congestion pricing. Don't buy it.
And we go to Samantha Liebman from New York One. Sam.
Hi, Jano. So I rode a Staten Island Express bus this morning with a commuter to get the full experience, and it wasn't very express. And a lot of people are complaining that not enough is being done to incentivize riding transit from Staten Island. I know that you're adding service, and I know you've said a lot of transit on Staten Island is subsidized, but it's like all local. It was like an hour until we left Staten Island, and then it was express, but there was a ton of traffic on the Gowanus, even in the HOV lane. And
Is there a
over.
question?
Yeah, so I'm just saying, are there any more plans to improve the situation for the Staten Island commuters?
Well, Sam, it sounds like your bus ride was impacted by the overall problem of buses in New York, which is too much traffic. I don't know about the condition that you face on Staten Island. Broadly speaking, we have seen improvements in travel times on Staten Island Express buses in the short week that we've had congestion pricing. But there's no question that we have been redesigning the bus network across the city in part of an effort to try to speed bus times. And congestion pricing is not only for that reason, but one of its principal benefits is to try to improve bus speeds. And I will look into what you just described. And in Staten Island investments, we have redesigned, we have added express bus service on Staten Island. We are making major investments in the Staten Island Railroad. And as you said, Staten Island mass transit is among the most subsidized. And in addition to that, we got the free ferry, and the Staten Islanders get a huge discount on the Verrazano. So everybody, MTA, city, state, is trying to help Staten Islanders get better mass transit, and we're very much committed to that.
All right, we'll move on from Staten Island. Got to move on from Staten Island to Long Island. A reporter who knows firsthand the on-time record performance of the railroad out there is Peter Gill of Newsday.
Thanks. I was wondering, yesterday the governor announced the new steel barriers for 100, bringing them to 100 new subway stations. I was wondering, 2 years ago there was an announcement of a pilot program for full screen doors, and I was wondering if you could provide an update on what the progress on that pilot has been.
Yeah.
And secondly, a report that came out a couple years ago from MTA also pointed out that the majority of people who are on tracks are not pushed onto the tracks. They're people who are there of their own volition. So for those sorts of people, what do these barriers represent as an impediment?
Okay, so what the governor has said, and yesterday she talked a lot about many things, but subway safety was one of them, is that she wants people, in addition to driving down the frequency of any kind of crime, she wants people to feel safe. And having those barriers along the platform makes sure that somebody can position themselves in an area where they would have a really high level of confidence that no random act of violence pushing them could happen. And that is a huge benefit. We've tried it out at about a dozen stations already, and it has made a difference. But I have to remind us, because we're all struggling with reacting to high-profile crimes, we have 1.5 violent crimes per day on a subway system that carries 4.5 million people. I am thrilled that the folks have listened to me and that we are adding cops, and especially cops on trains, which the MTA and I have been asking for a while. That is a huge piece of news. Having also these physical barriers is also going to make the subway system safer and everybody feels safer, and I'm thrilled about it.
All right, we go to Jose Martinez of the city. He left the wonderful Bruno. I feel like Bruno would have enjoyed this weather, but he left Bruno at home. He's here by himself. Jose.
No
He's-
long-windedness.
He's built for it. Hi, Jenna. Good morning, everyone. A couple of questions, and I hope my brain doesn't freeze on me. And it is.
Okay, it's okay.
First,
Take your time.
at this point, related to congestion pricing,
Yeah.
I know that it's very early in the process, but are you seeing any signs of spillover off of the Triborough, and I know it's not the MTA's bridge, the George Washington into the neighborhoods off of the bridge? And my second question is about the benefits agreement, the mitigation efforts in the Bronx.
Yeah.
If you could speak to where things stand on that front and when the borough will begin seeing the fruits of that as a result of congestion pricing.
Listen, it's too early to talk about what. Every time you do something to traffic, you change lights, you build a new lane, you close a lane for construction, it has effect on the traffic network. So it's way too early to say anything permanent. But talking about the Bronx, our priority in the Bronx was making sure the air quality was not negatively impacted. And you know what we're doing, which people have not been talking about? We're getting rid of over 100 dirty refrigeration units in the Hunts Point market. Those things are spewing diesel fumes all over the South Bronx. They're horrendous for air quality, and getting rid of them is one of the principal investments that is being made to make sure that as we go through this congestion pricing process, there is no negative, in fact, a positive air quality impact to the Bronx. There's a ton of other investments going on, but that is one that I think everybody who goes by an area that is covered with diesel fumes because of these diesel refrigeration units is really going to appreciate. And we love that we've got a lot of Bronx electeds here to talk about that over time. It's a work in progress. The market, the people who operate the market, and the New York City Economic Development Corporation, which is city government, is in the process of procuring those units and deploying them. I can't give you an exact date, but that's a huge improvement for everybody in the South Bronx.
All right, time for two more real quick. Michelle Kasky is here from Bloomberg News. Michelle.
Hi, Jano, you mentioned it just a minute ago, but can you speak again about the governor's announcement yesterday about more policing on the subways, especially overnight, and what that means for the MTA, how that is, the detail, how is that really going to help change the tide here?
Listen, you know, it's no secret. The governor's made huge investments in MTA safety. That having a camera on every train completely changes things. Something like 30 to 40% of the bad stuff that, you know, I always emphasize, you know, this is not a dystopian hellscape like you read in the tabloid world sometimes, but we have 1.5 violent crimes per day on the MTA system. But we want to make sure, number one, that number goes down, and two, that everybody who does something like that is caught. And we now have cameras on every subway train, not just in the stations, but on every subway train. Having a cop on every subway train is really going to alter the safety equation overnight. The MTA has been talking about restoring that. It's something that existed when I grew up in New York, and we're thrilled that the governor stepped up and is funding that so that the NYPD can afford those officers. She's also funding extra overtime, so we have a surge like we have seen off and on in the last couple of years, so that the riders see cops on the platform. It's the one thing they tell us that makes them feel safe, and we're thrilled that the governor has made those investments. That was big news yesterday.
All right, closing it out as we started. No, we're good. Thanks, everybody. Thank you so much. For the dozens of newsrooms watching on the live stream, we are going to feed you some B-roll now. B-roll video is coming from the Bronx. Stand by. Thanks.